summer can steal an enormous amount of time and capacity when we go into it with just ambiguity. When nobody knows what the plan is, everyone is micro-solving every single day. A visible schedule is going to kill that ambiguity. It tells everybody at a glance what the week looks like. Your kids know when you're in a heavy work stretch. You know when you're committed and when you can be present. You don't have to download every single person every single day on what's happening. I'm Tiffany Souter, entrepreneur, wife, mom to 4 girls, and a woman figuring it out just like you. Come on, let's go build your life of and. Every single working mom I know hits the same wall. It's the first week of summer, school is out, the kids are home, and you realize, oh shit, I haven't figured any of this out. Who's watching them on Tuesday? What are they eating for lunch every day for the next 1,200 weeks at their home? Is there camp? Is there coverage? Is there anything on the calendar that is actually for you? And you feel behind before summer even starts. Here's what I've learned after 17 summers as a working mom, which, like, asterisk, this is my last summer with all the girls home. So wild. Your summer is not going to organize itself, ladies. It's going to expand to fill every single empty space, and it will take your entire calendar if you let it. And the women who actually enjoy summer, those working moms who come through and say it did not literally take, like, eat me life and limb, they planned it in April. So that's what this episode is going to be about. I know you're stressed because you just got back from spring break and you're like, holy crap, May is coming, which is like basically the second December for every single working mom. But you're 4 weeks out, and I'm going to give you a checklist so that as you walk into summer, you feel like, girl, I got this. That's what we're going to go through. So we're going to go through the things to decide, stuff to reserve, stuff to talk through with your kids, things to put on the calendar right now so that when the last day of school arrives, you are not starting your plan. You are ready. We're not going to survive our summer. We're going to crush it. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. Number 1, I want to go through logistics. The first thing that has to happen is a practical solve. So do you have coverage for every single week of summer? Like, this is a critical question. And some of you are saying like, well, of course I do. I'm telling you, there are some of the moms that don't. I talked to a mom last summer, like mid-July, and she was like, I just never got to it. And I have been limping along my entire summer. To that mom right now, I'm telling you, right now is your moment, okay? Print out the calendar. And every week from the last day of school to the first day back, I want you to ask this question. Who is responsible for the kids each one of those days? If you're in a 2-career household like me, the question is not going to be optional and it cannot be vague because you have to work. You need a named answer for every single week, not we're going to figure it out, because that means figure it out means you're not going to work that day, or you're going to be stressed because you're going to pretend that work today, or you're going to do 50% of your job that day because you didn't figure it out. Okay, here's what you're going to look at. Camp. If you haven't registered for camps, do it today because the good ones fill up in February. The decent ones fill up in April. We know this. It is like annoying. You're in the last window and you need to go look right now. Your childcare provider. Does your nanny, sitter, or daycare know what summer looks like? Do you know if they're taking a vacation? Ask them. Get ahead of this. Get that conversation on the calendar this week. Then I want you to go look at your own work calendar. Where are the weeks that you're traveling or you're going to be in heavy work seasons where there are non-negotiable meetings that are happening, and flag them now. Those are going to be the weeks that need the most support, not the least. I also want you to look at the summer calendar and see which ones do you just not that need that much coverage. See when July 4th falls. See what week you're going to leave on Wednesday for a long weekend. Those weeks, maybe you can limp along and you don't have to pay for coverage, or you definitely don't want to register for a camp that week and waste your money. But get ahead of it and take a look week by week. The last section is look at like family coverage. Where can grandparents, cousins, or family visits, when are those happening, and do they actually help with coverage or do they add the complexity and logistics? So the goal is to come out of this exercise with 0 blank weeks. If you have a blank week and it says, I'm going to just watch the kids, well, then you know that in advance. And so when somebody asks you if you can give a presentation in LA for a board meeting on that Tuesday when you're watching the kids, you can say, I would be happy to do it remotely for you because you know you're going to have the kids that week. So set yourself up for success. It gets you out of your reactive, grumpy servant when you have an idea of what's happening. every single week has a plan. Not a perfect plan, but a named plan. Okay, the second thing I want you to do is to set priorities. This is the piece that I think a lot of families skip. And it's the one that like honestly changes everything. It creates focus. Before summer starts, every person in your family sits down and writes out 3 to 7 things they want to do, experience, learn, or accomplish this summer. It is not a wish list. Well, it might kind of start as a wish list, but I want you to think about it as a priority list. And here's how to run with it. Give your family a 3-day heads up. Don't ambush anyone. I promise there's somebody in your family that is not a high quick start and they need time to process, and you need to give that poor, girl or boy in your family a minute to actually think about it. So don't ambush them. At dinner, say in 3 days, we're going to sit down as a family and we're going to share what each of us want out of summer. And so I want you to start thinking about it. And I want you to make that list for you too. This is not just for the kids. This is for you to think about, what do I want my family to experience? How many times do I want to go to the pool? Do I want to capture, hang out with my friends at the pickleball court? Like, what do you want as well? And one of the things I do is I also think about things I might add to my kids' priorities list. So for example, I have a 10-year-old. She is not as proficient at her math facts as her father and I would like her to be. And so one of the priorities I will have for her this summer is that she works on her math facts 10 minutes, 3 times a week. And I know by the end of the summer, she will know her math facts cold if she does that. So also think about, when you're thinking priorities, what are things you might add to their list? Last year, I think one was somebody needed to learn how to ride a bike. A couple of times with my preteens, I'm like, you need to learn how to type. We're not a hunt and peck kind of a house. So those things, what do you want your kids to be learning? Where do you want them to be focusing their energy? Is also a time to think about that. So why do priorities even matter? It's really for 3 reasons. First, your kids now have a list to go back to when they're bored. Because 100% certainty in life is gravity and the fact that your kids are going to come to you in the summer at some point and say you're bored. And so when someone wanders into the kitchen at 10 a.m. saying they have nothing to do, you point them to the list and say, hey, let's take a look at what you said you wanted to do. You said you wanted to learn how to make sourdough. Today's the day. Go pull up Pinterest. Rob your neighbor's house for her sourdough starter. I don't know. But it gives them a place to put their energy, because the boredom problem becomes a priority problem. They don't know what to do. And so it becomes solvable when you have an idea of what it is that they wanted to do at the beginning of the summer. The second thing is, you know what to plan around. Instead of guessing what matters to your 14-year-old this summer, you actually know. And mine often will say I want to hang out with these 3 friends at least 3 times. I want to go spend the weekend at Nana's house. I want to go to Chicago and watch a show. I don't know. But it gives you an understanding of what you need to prioritize. What is going to get your time and money? Because when you know the kids' priorities, it changes the decisions you make about how to spend time and money. Maybe you'll reroute some camp funds towards a different thing that is more important to them. Third, and I think this is the one that gets skipped the most, is that you are also a customer of summer. I remember so vividly, and this is where this exercise came from. One summer, and I wish it was probably, my kids are 14, probably 6 to 8 years ago. And I got to the end of the summer. We were on back to school situation. And I realized I did not put my swimsuit on one time that entire summer. And I also had mushrooms growing underneath my patio furniture because I had never pressure washed it and opened up the patio for us to entertain and eat up there. It was always cobwebby and gross. And I got to the end of the summer and I blamed all kinds of things. My clients, my job, my kids for taking up so much capacity. And what I realized was it was me who never actually said, this is the Friday I'm going to leave at noon and go to the pool with my kids. This is the Saturday we're going to have friends over and we're going to do a summer cookout. I never made those decisions. I never set priorities on a list. And if we don't ever say what we want to feel, do, and experience before Labor Day, if we don't name it and put it on the calendar, the whole summer is going to get filled in And I promise you, it will not happen. Somebody else's priorities will have taken every open day, and I have ended summers where I experienced none of it. And this is not going to be that summer for me. And I don't want it to be that summer for you. I want to take a quick moment to thank my partners at Share Your Genius. For the past 4 years, they have been an incredible part of my journey behind the microphone. Share Your Genius is a content and podcast production agency that helps leaders and brands bring their message to life. So whether you're trying to find your voice, develop a content strategy, or get your leader behind a microphone, they're going to help you make it simple, strategic, and impactful. So how do we work in a different way so that we can be clear about what we want? When we name what we want, when we put it on the calendar, when there's still time before it's all gone, we can build a summer with purpose for ourselves as well, and not just our families. Okay. Once your priority, so you've gone through your calendar, like I've got coverage, you've got summer priorities figured out. So once that's done, now we have to make it visible. And I mean in the most literal sense of things. I know we are living in the world of AI, but there is nothing more comforting to a family who's busy than a printed calendar on the fridge. And I will put one on the fridge, and I will give the girls each one to put in their rooms, because then everybody knows what's going on. So I will write out who's in charge of the kids, what camp or activity they're going to, any family commitments or trips that we have to look forward to, what days I'm going to be traveling or just unavailable. And this one piece of paper, I'm telling you, is going to do more for your summer sanity than almost anything else. And it will also, like, I will literally put unplanned time on there. Like, literally, I will say, this is going to be a day where we have no plans. Because otherwise, you know, you are never going to have a day in the summer where you have no plans, where you get to like just experience your stuff. I just feel like we don't experience our backyards. We don't experience our grills. And maybe some of your families are better at that than ours. But if like given a chance to say yes to a commitment, I will. And so I also have to just plan, like, do nothing. And then I look at my calendar and somebody says, are you available on Saturday? And I'm like, oh, I'm busy. Even if busy means I have do nothing on there. So I think summer can steal an enormous amount of time and capacity when we go into it with just ambiguity. When nobody knows what the plan is, everyone is micro-solving every single day, who's driving, who's home, what's for dinner, when is pickup. That daily chaos is going to eat your capacity and your joy. A visible schedule is going to kill that ambiguity. It tells everybody at a glance what the week looks like. Your kids know when you're in a heavy work stretch. You know when you're committed and when you can be present. Your sitter knows where everybody is. And like, honestly, the system kind of runs itself. You don't have to download every single person every single day on what's happening. So that's my hack. Okay, last one, solving for food. I mean, the kids have to eat so many times in the summer at home when the kids are in school. Like, food is kind of handled, you know, breakfast is a non-event. They like eat something. I don't know. It's not a big deal at our house. Lunch is at school, or they pack it the night before. So they've already decided it. And then dinner's at home. And so summer blows all of that up completely. They eat every meal at our house. And for my pile of girls, they think each meal needs to look like a Pinterest experience, and I just can't stand it. So if you don't solve for this now, food is going to become a daily war, and you're going to spend more mental energy on what is there to eat when it deserves. So a couple things I do before summer starts. One is just decide how food's going to work. Will you do a weekly grocery order? Will your kids help build the lunch menu? Will they get to add one new snack every week? Will you batch cook something on Sundays? I have some older kids, so they can make a few things on the weekend as well. But pick a system, any system, that helps you get food out faster, and there be less daily micro decision making on what to eat. The enemy is not that the system is bad. The enemy is not having one at all. The second is get your kids involved with planning. Have them write down what they want for breakfast and lunch each week. And again, put it on the calendar, the one that's already printed on the fridge. When they have invested in the plan, there's much less pushback on like, I've got nothing to eat. I hate what's in the house. It's like, just like the school publishes a lunch menu every week, like every month, right? Like April's just dropped. somebody planned the lunch menu. And if your kids eat at school, they eat whatever somebody makes them because there's not more choices. And I think when we take that choice thing away, even in the summer, and say, hey, we've got June coming up. Can you go ahead and plan every lunch? And then you just have to order like the groceries. It's like trying to set it up more like school. It's like, I'm just not in the mood for that today. I mean, the lunch lady's not going to go back and like make chicken nuggets for your kid and you're a kid alone. That's not how it rolls. So we can set it up like that in our house as well. And I usually say like, hey, Monday through Thursday, it's just more rigid. Like we still need to be like business version of our family rolls on those 4 days. And the play version of of our family can roll more on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm not this rigid every day, but them knowing the plan, them participating in the plan, it's like, I think really important. And you're also like teaching them something really real about how a household runs, because someday they're probably going to have kids who also need to eat during the summer and they'll have a toolbox for doing that. So last thing, I like to prep our environment for summer too. And it feels silly, but when we kind of prep our space for school too, meaning like, where are you going to study? Is it cleaned off? Do you have sharp pencils? Like creating a space for the girls to be able to do their schoolwork and have a landing place for their backpack and know where to place their lunchbox when they get home from school. All of that is like a school intake, a school version of our space in our house. And I like to move it and prep it for summer as well. So do a pass through the house with a fresh set of eyes and think about where are the zones where the kids are going to spend time. And is there places where you need to move things around? Are there toys that are worn out? Or like I usually update and replace like all of our markers and crayons and colored pencils. It costs like $25. It's like not a big deal, but it makes it feel fresh and prepared and like interesting again. A $60 order of like new sidewalk chalk and bubble wand and reusable water balloons and like fresh art supplies. All of that can make the space, things that have already been used and feel super like, I don't know, worn out. It makes it feel new again, and new things extend engagement and make them happy. I mean, think about when you see like a new shirt in your closet, like, whoo, fun day. I'm going to feel great about myself. It's the same thing with kids. When the space is set up to be used and it looks fun and colorful and engaging and inviting, they will do that instead of defaulting to screens, or at least you've got a shot. So, I mean, Goodwill is worth a run too. You can always spend $20 and come home with, we always go find things to like paint and clothes that they can cut up and turn into something else. So I have a pile of girls, so that's where my experiences come from. But they're like very low cost, high return things that we can do. And for like less than $100, I can make the house feel really, really new again. So the goal is to make house feel like a destination, like not just this default of like yesterday's school was happening, today it's summer, and literally nothing feels different. Like that, I think would be really disappointing. So I think with a few simple things, here's what I'm going to have you do. Get your house cleaned on a Saturday and use that Saturday to get your house prepped for summer. How about that change? How about that switch? Go listen to my other episode on outsourcing, but like give yourself a little capacity so that you can do this as well. So here's some things I know about summer planning. The families who love summer are not the ones who have more money or more flexibility. They're the ones who sat down right now in the spring and asked the right questions. What do we need? What do we want? What has to be solved before the first day of school is out? And how do we go into the summer as a team? Summer is long and it's loud and it's fast and it's a lot of meals and it's a lot of logistics and lots of wet, sweaty kids with 1,000 towels to clean. But it's also the season with the most white space in it if we set it up to be that way. It has room for moments that actually matter, for connection and some stillness and nature and just time to be. So we can have we have a decision to make, I think. We can either let it fill up with chaos and crazy and just whatever happens and comes, or we can decide right now, what is our summer going to hold? What are we going to make sure it feels like? So right now the window is open and I want you to take advantage of it. If this episode gave you the push you need, I would just love it if you would forward it to the working mom in your life who hasn't thought about summer yet, or she spent last summer feeling like she did not take advantage of the time. She needs it more than she knows, and I would love it if you shared it with her. And if you want a system for running your household that doesn't break down every single time a new season hits, that's exactly what we've built inside the Life of Ant program, and I would love for you to join us. The link is in show notes. So go plan your summer. All of it. And don't forget, you're a customer too. I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to The Life of Ant. This is your weekly reminder to keep making bold choices, saying clear yeses, and holding space for what matters most. As always, if you like this episode, I'd love for you to drop a review and share it with your friend. It's the fastest way that we can grow the show. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time.